Chapter 51 of Baki Rahen has released, and not only does something completely unexpected happen, but also we even get to see the return of Baki Hanma. But before I start today's video, if you'd like to interact with me, my community, show off your art, drop some memes, talk in general, or maybe even self-promote, then you can join the Discord that can be found in the description box below. But anyway, in the last chapter of Baki Rahen, KAORU Hanayama absolutely dismantled Jack Hanma, causing Jack to throw up and collapse onto the floor, before the police would then intervene and potentially end the fight. Chapter 51, titled Stronger with a question mark, as Hanayama seems to be questioning something as he has his finger placed on his face, with the text, "The way you are trumps the things you see." And we are right where we left off, with Jack laid out on the ground and Hanayama standing over him as the police have finally decided to interfere. Hold it, don't move, police. They have finally intervened, though something that none of us would have ever expected had then happened. Hanayama is shown bleeding out of his neck with a blank stare as his eyes seemed glazed over with an emotionless expression. The police chief instantly screamed for his fellow officers to call an ambulance as Hanayama's neck had begun shooting out blood even more. He passed out. He has lost so much blood, but he is still standing, as Hanayama was shown standing over Jack Hanma unconscious on his feet. Jack laid now awake with an expressionless stare at the sky while he was laid out on the floor, when he was then approached by two officers. "Are you okay? Can you talk?" Jack then leaped up into a handstand instantly, with his arms seeming to not be giving him any problems even after sustaining so many injuries to them. And as Jack had landed onto his feet, the cyborg towered over the officers and everyone else in the vicinity. He is huge, as this is one of the only times that Jack had stood up straight during this entire encounter. "Could you let us know what happened here?" As the officer asking questions was scared out of his mind, and rightfully so. "We had a fight to see who was stronger. We settled it. That is all." The officer then seemed to push his luck with the already slightly agitated Jack Hanma. And it is just how it looks. I had gotten knocked down and Hanayama bled out. Jack Hanma seems to be extremely agitated by something, which could be a variety of things, such as the results of this fight, or the officer's mix of ignorance and confidence. So it is over, as the police chief had then patted his officer on the shoulder and seemed to calm the tension in the air. "Could you take care of Hanayama, please?" It seems that Jack has not forgotten Hanayama taking care of him when he was in recovery, as he is now returning the favor. An officer had then tried to stop Jack Hanma from walking away. "Hey, wait." But the chief had stopped him, saying, "It is fine. They were settling the matter of who is stronger." And that is all it was, right? As Jack had then walked away from this bout as the technical victor, though it could be up to interpretation. The policeman then questioned his boss. "Chief, are you serious? The victim is not going to press charges. Even if he died, this guy would still not want to lawyer up." As Hanayama was then shown being still unconscious while being hauled out onto a stretcher into an ambulance, with the bleeding on his neck being stopped by a bandage. And we are then brought to a new but familiar place, where a character that has not been shown in a long time, named Kato, was then shown speaking to Hanada at his home. "So Hanada, do you really think that Baki is that strong?" And this question even gave Hanada pause. "You what?" "Kiyosumi Kato. Shinkai Karate, for the Dan. Hanada, you have gotta know, once a martial artist stops doubting, it is over for him. Even I still have my doubts and I still hesitate. Yunichi Hanada, Motobe Jiu-Jitsu senior instructor, in the dojo and me every day. That being said, I have not once doubted Baki Hanma, as Hanada thinks questioning Baki Hanma's strength is ridiculous. How about you try him? Just jump him or something. Go ahead and try it. He's not going to moan about it or anything. People think about this Hanma blood, but I do not know that kind of stuff. I do not really buy it, you know? I mean, you cannot deny it. Neither the father or the son are exactly normal." As Kato then gained a serious look on his face. "The strongest creature on earth. That is not a title anyone else is contesting. When you think about it, it is pretty amazing, right? Never mind the father. I am talking about Baki. He is under 170 centimeters and only about 70 kilos. In boxing, he would be a damn middleweight. So in fighting, open weights have got to be tough for him then, yeah?" As Kato seems to be insanely underestimating Baki's abilities. "You are forgetting something. He beat Yujiro. I'm going to try him. That is exactly what I have been saying." As we then time skip to a different day, one where Baki Hanma is casually walking on the street with his hands in his jeans, and Katao is trailing behind Baki from a distance, ready to pounce on Baki as soon as he can get the opening. The scent of a schemer wafts in from behind. It is beyond exciting to see Baki make his return to fighting. I was under the impression that Baki would probably not fight anyone until Jack had rose the ranks and prepared for a rematch against his brother. But even if it is a match against an old opponent like Kato, this little fight could mean so much more. With Jack Hanma versus Hanayama being over, Jack obviously needs a new opponent. And from this point, when it at least comes to strong opponents, he only has a few options, which in my opinion includes Biscuit Alva, which would be an insanely hype fight and would be absolute peak, the Pickle rematch, which is way too soon to happen, and finally a fight with Baki Hanma, which has been long awaited for genuinely over a decade, I'm pretty sure, as Jack had initially lost to Baki for a championship belt in a tournament, and ever since then, comparisons between Baki and Jack Hanma have only continued to grow. And even though Baki's personal main storyline is over, at this point of the series, Baki is somewhat of a gatekeeper for the insanely strong fighters in the series, as a fight against Baki would put any fighter's capabilities on full showcase, which could completely change how a fighter is seen and perceived by not only the audience but other fighters in the Baki manga as well, which could honestly make or even break a character. And most of all, this could actually lead to Jack and Baki reuniting their feud. And today's chapter officially confirmed that Jack Hanma vs KAORU Hanayama is over, with the fight leaving Jack as the victor, as Hanayama has bled out from the bite on his neck, which was the same thing that happened to Nomi no Sukune. Though to be honest, the ending to this fight seems a little dull and honestly effortless. Don't get me wrong, I believe Jack should have won. I mean, after all, it's his arc, and it would make no sense for him to just be losing fights. But Jack had sustained so much more damage than Hanayama in this fight, it is insane. If I'm correct, this is the third bite that Jack had successfully landed on Hanayama, and no vital organs were struck, just Hanayama's neck. And on paper, I believe this ending makes the most sense by far. I just think that Itagaki went about it wrong. Hanayama is renowned as this crazy tank that has an insane durability, but after a couple strikes and 3 bites, you're telling me Hanayama loses, while Jack just gets knocked out with nothing broken? I thought this fight was gonna be insanely brutal, with Jack's crazy offense versus Hanayama's insane defense. But after all, I guess I am just a reader at the end of the day. And these are Itagaki's characters, so he makes them whatever he wants them to be. And Baki Rahen will be on break next week, with chapter 52 of Baki Rahen releasing on September 24th for American and European viewers, and September 25th for the viewers in Asia. But that is going to be all for today's chapter. Let me know in the comment section below, did you enjoy? And if you enjoyed today's video and would like to support me, then you can leave a like and subscribe. It is completely free on your end and helps me out way more than you may think. And once again, if you would like to interact with me, my community, show off your art, drop some memes, talk in general, or maybe even self-promote, then you can join the Discord that can be found in the description box below. But that will be all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And remember, at 10K, I'm gonna give away a little bit of money, so you clicking that little button can make the entire difference. Bye!